It's another eBay unboxing. After all the breakages I've been having in the past couple of days, I'm afraid to actually open this. So let's see what's inside and let's cross our fingers. Thank you out there for crossing your fingers for me. And let's hope that this box isn't damaged. Well, the item in it. Stay tuned. Oh boy. I am so afraid to remove this newspaper to see, because I know this is glass, whatever this is. And whenever a seller uses newspaper, I know they're not a professional packer. All right, I'm holding my breath on this one. Is it okay? I see blue tape. All right, let me get it out and let's see what's going on here. Whenever I see this strikes fear in my heart. Grocery bags and newspaper and some beat up old tissue paper. I'm starting to see some glass here. Please, God, please, please let it not be broken. All right, hang in there. So just to show you how this glows in the dark, I just took this in the most horrible place in my house, my boiler room, where it's darkest during the daytime. And so I have a black light shining on this glass egg, and I believe it to be Vaseline glass, aka uranium glass. And look how it glows as this little lamp hits it. Now I have a little torch or flashlight that's a black light, a purple light, in my sleeve right now because I'm filming with one hand and trying to show you this with the other. And it's the only way I could do this. But look how that glows. I'm going to turn it. So yeah, I suspect that this is uranium glass, aka Vaseline glass. So I just showed you this beautiful glass egg tantalus box that glowed in the dark in my boiler room. And as you walk, like as I'm walking through the garden, look how it changes in intensity and color as the light hits it. So although uranium glass, well, this is probably, it's really known as Vaseline glass also, but this is probably uranium glass. And the reason it was called uranium glass earlier was because that's when they first came out with it, I believe in the 1830s or 1840s. It was just a simple coloring, but it's radioactive glass. Now in small amounts, like small percentages, I think up to 25% uranium. And so it's really not very harmful unless you're like crushing the glass and snorting it or eating it. So nonetheless, this is beautiful, and this is a tantalus box. It's most likely Bohemian from the Czech Republic area. Well, it was once called Bohemia, and they had amazing glass factories in that area, especially by the name of Moser glass. If you don't collect it, look it up. Moser glass is gorgeous. So they made beautiful crystal pieces and glass, or it could be French. And I know the French like to use a lot of eggs. They made a lot of egg boxes and things in the shape of an egg. So I believe it's not American, that it's really either French or Bohemian, because the clasp, I don't know if you can see the latch, and I have a lot of Bohemian glass that's antique from about the 1880s to about 1900, and a lot of French glass boxes like that with this particular latch. So I believe this ormolu latch does point to either French manufacturer or Bohemian manufacturer. Now I thought I'd tell you guys something really interesting about uranium glass, or as it was called in the early 20th century, Vaseline glass. And this stuff was quite deadly in, the production of it. So for example, I read a story. I don't know how accurate I am right now because I read the story about a year ago. But in, I believe, a couple of factories in Connecticut in the early 20th century, Vaseline glass was like all the rage. It was used in a lot of manufacturing, not only glass. So for example, there was a couple of factories, I believe it was in Connecticut, if I'm correct. I don't know. I could look up the article again. And hundreds of ladies working in factories was suddenly coming down with a lot of illnesses. And they were having bone issues. They were getting some kind of like really dangerous, like their it's hard to explain. Their jaw bones were actually crumbling and their jaws were disintegrating, and the bones in their faces were disintegrating, the bones in their hands, the bones throughout their whole entire body, but more so in the jaw area. Well, what was happening was these ladies working in these factories were painting the dials on wristwatches, which were all the rage at the time, and clocks. And they were painting the uranium onto the dials so they glowed in the dark. What they were doing was licking the tip of the paintbrush. So when the paintbrush got a little frayed, they would just like place it into their mouth and pull the paintbrush with their saliva to straighten out the bristles. And they were getting this dangerous cancer, mysterious cancer condition where all their bones would just totally disintegrate. And these ladies, hundreds of them, there was documented cases where they were in the hospital dying, and just basically their bones were turning to dust. And it was because of this uranium that was in the glass when they were licking the paintbrushes to paint the dials of clocks and wristwatches and all sorts of things that they were painting uranium on to make things glow. So I thought you guys would find that interesting. So this one is about, this glass box is probably from about 1890, I'm thinking, to about 1910 or so. And it's just gorgeous. Let me open it up a moment. Sorry, I had to put you in the grass. Okay, there we go. I didn't want to injure the box in any way. And it's a miracle that it arrived in one piece. So you can see how when the sun hits it at certain angles, it almost has a green glow to it. Indoors, this is a very pale yellow. You don't see this glowing green, and it's not as pretty indoors as it is outdoors. Whoops. No, I don't want to break it. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. I thought I'd share this with you guys. Now, this was probably something that held cordials in it. A lot of these tantalus boxes had little inserts in it where you could put teeny tiny little shot glasses in it, and in the center would be like a little tiny little alcohol decanter. And so that was probably what this was used for. The insert probably went missing, or it could have just been a box just to place candies in it. I believe they called that a bonbonniere dish or box. So once again, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up and subscribe.